What is going on, guys? Week 15 coming at you guys right now. The entire recap, going over all your top performers, all your letdowns, getting into a little bit of the playoff picture through 15 weeks, going over the Dallas Cowboys on whether or not they're going to be able to rally, going over the Josh Gordon suspension and what that might mean to the Seattle Seahawks and the entire NFC as a whole. It might throw a wrench into everything. You don't want to miss it. What's going on, guys? My name is Lawrence, aka Law, and this is The Catch, a channel where I break down all things fantasy football and all things sports stock. And this episode, like I said, I'm going to be breaking down the Week 15 recap, the entire Week 15. It was a great weekend of football, great weekend of UFC fights if you guys were able to catch that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'm going to be starting off with your top performers of the week. Got my quick little notes right here. Week 15 top performers at the quarterback position. You might know the guy's name, Lamar Jackson, 37.1 points, 15 to 23, 212 passing yards with 5 passing touchdowns on the day. And this was actually the Thursday night football game, so a little bit behind on this. Unfortunately, about a week behind, but who cares? Running back position, Kenyon Drake. Nobody saw this one coming. 39.6 points. 22 for 137 yards and 4 touchdowns, guys. Wide receiver Julio Jones, 38.4 points, 13 receptions, guys, 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. At the tight end position, George Kittle, a guy that we've seen on this same slate several times this season, and I'm talking about 26.4 points for George Kittle. 13 receptions, 134 yards, no touchdowns, unfortunately. He would have had an absolute killer game if we are talking about, obviously if he does score a touchdown, we're talking 30-plus points. He's right up there with Julio Jones and some of the top wide receivers, guys. So if you got George Kittle this week, you were extremely happy about his performance. On the letdown side, guys, a few people that might have let you down, unfortunately, maybe would have lost you a playoff game. Or 2 if you're in multiple leagues, similar to me. At the quarterback position, guys, Jacoby Brissett struggled all day on Monday Night Football against the New Orleans Saints. 7.3 points. He was 18 for 34, 165 yards, and no touchdowns. At the running back position, a guy that I'm sure you were extremely disappointed in. He was coming off a bit of an injury, so I was pretty hesitant starting him this week, but you can't not start Derrick Henry. He did only get 8.6 points, unfortunately, 21 for 86 yards and 0 touchdowns. Not a bad day, but fantasy-related. Not exactly what you were hoping for, especially in the semifinals of your playoffs right now. So at the wide receiver position, guys, a guy that you're used to seeing getting a whole bunch of targets, only saw a couple of targets all night, or all day, I should say. Julian Edelman, 2.9 points, 2 receptions for 9 yards. No touchdowns, unfortunately. At the tight end position, Atlanta Falcon, Austin Hooper, a guy that we were used to seeing before his injury, was actually performing extremely well. Had the injury towards the middle of the season, missed a few weeks, but we were hoping for a rebound, especially in the semifinal rounds. 5 points, guys, 3 receptions for 20 yards, and no touchdowns, unfortunately. Moving on to the injury report for Week 15, we did see a few big names go down, which is fantasy-related and both big NFL and playoff implications related also. Dalvin Cook re-aggravated the shoulder injury that he suffered in Week 13. He was actually helped off the field, visibly in pain, guys. It did not look good. I did go back and see the replay, and it did not look good, guys. He immediately went to the tent. It didn't take very long for them to ultimately decide that he was not going to be coming back into the game. Very, very ugly to see, especially from a guy who has suffered knee injuries in the past. And you can just tell the guy's got great talent, and we've seen it all season long. As long as he can stay healthy is the wrench in everything, guys. So he re-aggravates that shoulder. I'm going to be just kind of keeping an eye on this on a day-to-day basis. Chris Godwin, a big wide receiver that I was extremely, extremely high on coming into the season, has absolutely performed up to expectations. Unfortunately, he did go down yesterday with a hamstring injury, was actually carted off the field. Not a very, very good side at all, guys. We saw Mike Evans, I don't know if it was last week, maybe a couple of weeks ago, went down with a similar hamstring injury. And in this game, too, we saw two guys leave the game with hamstring injuries. But this one didn't look good, and Bruce Arians seems to agree. Not a situation that he's probably not going to be coming back for the rest of the season, unfortunately. So be sure you're pursuing Brashad Perriman off the waiver wires. He's going to be a great pickup for you this week. Should see a lot of volume, and hell, I mean, he's been performing extremely well in place of Mike Evans when it was just Chris Godwin and Brashad Perriman. So if you've got him on the waivers right now and you're actually needing a wide receiver, why not? Jameis Winston does throw a lot of interceptions, but he also does throw a lot of touchdown passes also. So definitely keep that in mind. Real quick, guys, going over a quick recap. I'm sure you've seen it all, but I'm going to just go ahead and throw it out there already. My Dallas Cowboys whooped all over the Los Angeles Rams 44-21. Patriots over the Bengals 34-13. Bucks over the Lions 38-17. Texans in a close one over the Tennessee Titans, and I knew this game was going to be a great one. I watched this one start to finish. Texans did win this one 24-21. Chiefs beat the Broncos in the snow 23-3. Giants take down the Dolphins 36-20. Eagles over the Redskins 37-27. Seahawks all over the Panthers 30-24. Jags over the Raiders 20-16. Cardinals take down the Browns 38-24. That is a joke, man. That is just a joke of a season. All the hype that was coming into the season, the big signing of Odell Beckham Jr. has been a bit of a disappointment. Just the entire offense as a whole. Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb has been those are the only two bright spots really of this offense. Baker Mayfield unfortunately regressed and has not gotten any better all season long. But they're still in the playoff hunt right now, guys, so we still got 2 more weeks. We definitely need to keep an eye on that. Vikings all over the Chargers, 39-10. Phillip Rivers throws another handful of interceptions in this game. Just a god-awful season for Phillip Rivers, unfortunately. The Falcons actually upset the San Francisco 49ers 29-22. I was extremely excited to see that because I did have Matt Ryan and Julio Jones in one of my leagues, and I'm off to the Super Bowl or to the championship rounds of my fantasy playoffs right now. Super excited about that. Hopefully going to be putting a little bit of cash in my pocket. But we'll see, guys. We'll see. Last game, Sunday Night Football, Bills over the Steelers, 17-10. I don't know. Didn't write down the official score from the Monday Night Football game, but it was an ass-whooping. Saints all over the Indianapolis Colts, guys. So I wanted to read through that rather quickly just to kind of get it off the table. I'm tired of my videos exceeding the limits that I'm wanting to, so I'm working on getting all the content I can possibly get out there in a shorter amount of time, make it a little bit more digestible. I don't know if that's the word, but we're going to go with it. Moving into the playoff pictures right now, as of Week 15 going into Week 16. In the AFC, Ravens and the Patriots, 1 and 2. Ravens got the 1 seed. Patriots got the 2 seed. Both have first round byes right now, followed by number 3, the Chiefs, number 4, the Texans, number 5, the Bills, number 6, the Steelers. It's going to be a really great race in the AFC, guys. I'm really actually looking forward to the AFC a whole lot more than I'm actually looking to the NFC. The only thing that kind of is throwing me for a loop a little bit is the 6 seed Steelers. Coming into the season, we knew they didn't have any Antonio Brown. We knew obviously they didn't have Le'Veon Bell. Ben Roethlisberger went down pretty early on in the season. Pretty unfortunate injury while actually throwing a pass. Actually damaged his elbow and has been out for the season. They started with Mason Rudolph, have since moved on to Duck Hodges. Officially, as of today, Tuesday, is when I'm actually recording this video. Duck Hodges is actually supposed to be starting for the for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So definitely something to keep an eye on right now. But that is really the only thing. As of right now, the matchups kind of sit as this. Like I said, both the Ravens and the Patriots both have byes. But as of right now, the 6 seed will take on the 3 seed. So the Steelers will actually play the Chiefs, and then the Bills at the Texans. The Bills at the Texans, I think, will be a great game, and I look forward to that one. So I'm really loving how everything is setting As of right now, the only thing that I would really love to see change is unfortunately the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know I got a lot of friends out there that are big Steelers fans. Now, don't get me wrong, if the Steelers do make the playoffs, props to Mike Tomlin for the season he's been able to manage to help this team into a handful of victories and to win just enough games to actually get into the playoffs. But I would really love to see the Tennessee Titans in there. If you follow me on any of my social medias, you definitely know I'm pretty high on the Texans as of right now, especially since Ryan Tannehill took over at quarterback. Derrick Henry is playing like a crazy maniac, and he has been all season long. A.J. Brown is coming on the scene. He's a big physical wide receiver, can run really crispy routes, very quick, very big-bodied guy. Reminds me a lot of Julio Jones. I don't want to crown the kid yet, but the guy has a lot of potential to have a lot of success in the NFL right now, guys. So definitely keep an eye on the Tennessee Titans right now. They really can't make any moves, can't really progress in the playoff picture as of right now. They will take on the New Orleans Saints this week. Should be a really good game, but following that, they will play the Houston Texans again, which is another AFC South matchup, and I'm really looking forward to that one again because I know that game was extremely exciting this past weekend, so I would definitely sign up to watch that one again, guys. But let's definitely keep an eye on that. That's really the only things that I would like to see. Unfortunately, Pittsburgh would have to lose their next couple of games, and the Tennessee Titans would have to win their next couple of games, including the win over Houston. But we'll definitely have to see. As at this point right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers will face the New York Jets and then have a very, very tough one to wrap up the season at Baltimore. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that right now, guys. Moving on to the NFC. Now, the NFC is super, super stacked all the way around. First seed being the Seattle Seahawks, second seed being the Green Bay Packers. Moving on, so of course those two will have the first round byes. Moving on to the first games, the 6th seed, which is the Vikings, will play the 3 seed, which is the Saints. That'll be a really, really great matchup. I would really look forward to that. And I really like how everything is setting right now for the NFC picture. I think it's probably as best as you're going to get it. I really don't see any other teams in the picture. Now, of course, I know everybody's going to say, yeah, let's get the NFC East out of there. They're no good, blah, blah, blah. Not going to happen, guys. As much as you guys want to jump up and down and preach that type of thing, it's never going to happen. So as of right now, where it's setting is the San Francisco 49ers would make a trip down to Dallas, and they will have a showdown there for the NFC wildcard game, guys. And I'm going to tell you something just outside of being obviously a Dallas Cowboy fan. So let me rub this down a little bit. Other than being a Dallas Cowboy fan, guys, and this is kind of moving into my next topic, is the guys look great this past weekend against the Los Angeles Rams. The defense, I think, stood up in a big, big way, guys. Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard both performed at an extremely high level. I'm really liking the idea of, obviously, this team is built to run the ball behind Ezekiel Elliott, guys. We paid him a lot of money. Tony Pollard is an extremely, extremely talented back. We still got him on his rookie deal. And we definitely do need to continue the play calling and the play style that we showed this past weekend. We showed we could have a lot of success with it. I believe Dak only threw the ball in the low 20s, somewhere probably around 23 to 24 times. I know he definitely has a little bit of an injury on his index finger, on his throwing hand. I did not see any throws during the game that would suggest anything that the injury is very, very serious. He did start the game with a little bit of tape on his index finger. Come to find out, he tore it off like really, really early in the game. I don't even remember what time it was, but he ended up tearing that off and just kind of playing like he typically would. And I didn't think he threw any passes during the game that would suggest, any, not necessarily any further injury, but that it's affecting the way that he's able to throw the football. I think he was still very, very, very effective during the entire game, guys. But I really like the idea of San Francisco coming down to Dallas to play that game. I think we definitely match up with them very well. Their defense, don't get me wrong, is super stacked. They could definitely put a halt to our offense very quickly. But I also think if our defense can continue to play the way that they played this past week, obviously I know it's not very much to go off of. I would love to think that, hey guys, we're working in the right direction, but I don't want to bite off more than I can chew and say way too much that it's going to end up coming back to backfire on me. So I'm going to just let this marinate a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and move on to Philadelphia, and hopefully we can travel up to Philly, handle business, take care of the NFC East, get ready for week 17 against, I believe, the Washington Redskins. If I'm not mistaken, yes, the Washington Redskins will be coming to Dallas, and so just a situation where I just hope that we can get our minds right, guys. I really like what I did see from this past weekend against the Los Angeles Rams, guys. I love that we ran the ball more. I love that we took the ball out of Dak's hands pretty much as we could. And most importantly, I like the fact that we're getting everybody involved. Like I said, Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, Blake Jarwin, Jason Witten. The wide receivers didn't catch very many passes in the entire game, guys. Michael Gallup didn't catch very many. Amari Cooper had, just a few. I don't know exactly how many receptions he had, but a couple of them were just very key receptions. So sometimes they don't have to stack up the box score in order for us to have all the success, guys. We've shown we can beat a winning team, a playoff caliber team. Now we just got to go out there and continue to perform at that type of a level. So it's just a situation where I'm extremely excited with that win. I hope that we can build off that, guys. But most importantly, we got to take care of business in Philadelphia, and that's going on this Sunday. I will be probably at Twin Peaks, drinking some beer, watching the game, and hopefully rooting for a huge win, talking a whole bunch of crap, and probably hopefully chanting NFC East champs regardless of how this season is gone, because I'll rep my boys all the way. And if you got any problems, you can catch all the smoke, I promise you. No, but nonetheless, guys, love the way that the playoff picture is kind of stacking out right now, guys. I really love it. Like I said, the only thing I would do on the AFC side is I would love to see the Tennessee Titans get in, but the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is no joke at all, guys. And just a situation where we just gotta kind of play it by ear. We got a couple more weeks left. I cannot believe that we're talking about week 15 going into week 16, telling me we've only got 2 more weeks. Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. Now, all right, guys, moving on to my final and last topic. I wanted to take a second to talk about Josh Gordon, guys. Josh Gordon was suspended indefinitely for violating the league's policy on performance-enhancing drugs and substances of abuse. I don't know the exact meaning behind all that stuff, guys, but ultimately the guy's got some issues, all right? It just kind of really goes to show, I'm going to kind of bring it down to earth a little bit, but it really goes to show that no matter where you are in your life, no matter how successful, what type of things you've got going for you, if you can't get your mind right, guys, ultimately at the end of the day, nothing else really matters, guys. It all really starts up here. I've had my issues in the past with some other personal things, and it's just been a situation where in the last couple of years, I've really been able to get myself together. I brought myself to be able to do something like this, something that I really enjoy doing. And it's just been an absolute blessing, guys. So prayers out to Josh Gordon. I know he's probably going through a lot. He's putting his family through all of this. They're seeing all of it. I'm sure they're sitting back knowing what type of potential the guy could have. And what type of potential he does have, guys. He's played with a lot of really great teams. Now, I know he started off with the Browns, but he had his opportunity going to New England where he was able to show a little bit of, some positivity, some steps forward. Ultimately, he ended up getting hurt this season. They ended up cutting him. He found his way over to Seattle where he was making a huge impact for a playoff caliber team, a team that is sitting in the first seed right now, and a team that is desperate for wide receiver help. All they've got there is Tyler Lockett, Malik Turner, a couple of no-name guys there. Fortunately for this team, they do have Russell Wilson, who is an MVP caliber player, a guy who can make the best out of everybody that he has around him. For example, he's got Jacob Hollister there at the tight end position that he's making him pretty much a household name, guys. So at the end of the day, the Seattle Seahawks do have Russell Wilson, and that's really all they have to lean on. Chris Carson has been the lead back there, and he's been really great, has shown to kind of have some fumbling issues earlier on in the season, but at the end of the day, guys, Rashad Penny is a guy that's injured, going to be out the remainder of the season. I haven't heard if he's going to be able to make it back anytime, during the playoffs or whatever the case may be, if they made a run in the playoffs. But at the end of the day, guys, this team is desperate for wide receiver help. I think that this is probably the most vulnerable that they've been all season long. I really love the signing of Josh Gordon whenever he ultimately was signed there, and he's made pretty much a really big impact all the way around for this offense, and I really think it just kind of opened up another dynamic for this offense, and they're not going to have that moving forward, guys. So that's definitely something that this 11-3 Seattle Seahawks team should definitely be cautious about. However, they do have Pete Carroll there, one of the greatest coaches in the league right now, and they've got Russell Wilson, definitely one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. So they definitely got something to lean on, something to be able to build off of, and I have no doubt that they're not going to hesitate. They're not going to stutter. They're going to continue to get better. They're going to continue to improve where they can improve at, guys. But ultimately, at the end of the day, guys, if you don't have your mind right, going back to the Josh Gordon thing, if you don't have your mind right, there's no sense in work on anything else, because it all starts up here, guys. You got to believe that you can do something, and prayers out for this guy, because like I said, I bet he's going through a lot right now. I'm sure he's going through some sort of a depression stage. Like I said, I know his family is going through it. So at the end of the day, guys, these guys are humans. I'm sure he's got kids. I'm sure he's got a wife. I know he's obviously got a family, but prayers goes out to this guy that he can get right. And I'm hoping that the NFL can see maybe that he's getting right, maybe put him on a little bit more of a strict schedule so we don't see these type of things happening anymore, guys. But at the end of the day, I'd love to see the return of Josh Gordon. Prayers up to that guy, man. Prayers up to that guy. That's going to wrap up today's video, guys. Thank y'all so much for coming by to check it out. I'm sorry I got all sappy like that, but it is what it is, guys. And like I said, y'all check us out on Sunday, America's Game of the Week on Fox at 3:30 Central Time. I'll be catching a few brews. If you guys have any questions, any championship matchup, fantasy football questions, be sure to hit me with them. If you don't follow me on any of my socials on Instagram, I'm at @thecatch_law. You can find me. I'm the only handsome guy smiling with a Corona in my hand. I promise you can find me on Instagram and on Facebook, on Twitter. I'm all the same, guys. Definitely go by and check it out. I'm posting daily content about fantasy football, anything sports talk. Again, if you like this type of content on the channel, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll be doing this hopefully on a weekly basis. I really enjoy doing it, so the more momentum I can continue to build with this whole thing, the more content I'll be able to put out, guys. But thank you guys for sticking with me. Peace.